All right, so here's our main character, and it's an astronaut medic with a jetpack. So let me just briefly talk about the moveset you can do. So you have your standard jump, which is proportional. So if you tap it lightly, you can do little hops and you can do bigger jumps. Next, you have a double jump, so you can double jump in the air, and of course you can control the position in mid-air like this to go back. And both of these jumps are dynamic as well. So you can do 2 short hops like this. You can do a short hop, big jump. You can do a big jump, short hop, etc. Next, we have the jetpack. And the jetpack, again, acts similarly, where if you do little taps, you can do kind of tiny jetpacks and a little longer, and then up to a maximum. So it's a limited jetpack. It's not one of those continuous jetpacks. But the jetpack reloads whenever you land on the floor, as you can see indicated by a subtle flashing of the backpack. And then finally, we have a dash. And a dash is a horizontal kind of quick dash, and it allows you to clear distances horizontally in areas where there's like a wall or a ceiling above you, and you have to cross kind of a narrow gap. So those are the basic movesets, and then there's a fast fall, which is just a subtle thing, but when you're in the air, you can just hold down to fall quickly down. But where it gets fun, and the kind of philosophy I was going for, is to treat this moveset almost like a game of resource management, where the resources are the movesets. So you can chain all of these in any order. So for example, I can do a standard double jump, but I can also insert a jetpack between the double jumps. So I can do jump, jetpack, jump. Or I can start off with a jetpack from the ground and then do my 2 jumps afterwards. And same thing with the dash. So I can do a dash off the ground, or I can jump dash, I can double jump dash, I can jetpack dash. And then you can see how it can get interesting in different kinds of levels where you chain like different permutations of this. So you can jump, jetpack dash, jump dash, jetpack, etc. And this can be useful later because this is a first level, so it's fairly simple to navigate. But you can see, for example, I can contour this little platform by dropping and then doing a dash and circle back with a jetpack. Or I can do a jetpack and then a second jump and kind of clear that. And I'm making it look easy because I've been playing this for hundreds of hours while testing. But once you get used to it, it'll become kind of second nature, and your hand will kind of get muscle memory, and you'll start to chain these things intuitively. And I spent a lot of time at the beginning of the process of making the game, tweaking the player controller to make sure it feels really tight and fun to play. And I started that before doing any kind of graphics or music or anything like that. I just had a little box on the screen, and I would tweak this for hours and days to make sure that everything feels nice, both in terms of like how the player controls, but also what it physically feels like on the controller when you're using the 4 buttons, or 3 buttons, I guess, for movement. And so right now, like my test to see if it's fun is kind of what I'm doing now is like, as I'm talking, I'm not even thinking. I'm just kind of intuitively playing because it's fun to kind of just fidget and move the player around in different ways. As you can see here, you have a lot of options, and once it becomes intuitive, then you can start chaining these things in any which way. And of course, and here I died. So of course, this looks very simple in this level, but in other levels, you have to start utilizing the kind of order in which you chain these events, and it starts to matter. Right now, I'm kind of free to do what I want, but in certain cases, as I'll show you in a second, you'll have to dash through certain kinds of walls, which means that there might be a series of levels where you have to manage your movement set so that you preserve your dash till the end so you can dash through the wall. So you wouldn't be able to dash right away. You'd have to jump, jetpack, and then save your dash at the last minute. And that's just one example. And as you go through the game, I'm not going to spoil the whole thing, but as you go through, you'll be challenged to kind of think about a little bit how to chain all these events together. But for the large part, it's a kind of action platformer. So there's not a lot of puzzle-y things where you have to think about the order too much. It's more like an intuitive thing that you'll develop as you start playing more and more. And while I'm here, I'm going to talk about another type of control you have, which isn't really movement, but there's the ability to heal. And what this does right now, it's not doing anything, but you'll come across these injured people throughout the game, and you can come up to them and heal them. And what this means is that they'll turn into checkpoints. So now if I die, I respawn at the nearest or the most recent person that you healed. So those are your moves. To recap, you have jump, double jump, both with dynamic like button presses. Then you have your limited jetpack, and again, that's dynamic too, so you can do short hops. Then you have your dash, and then you can heal, and then you can fast fall. So those are the 4 buttons, the 4 standard buttons on the controller and what they do. All right, so now that we have the controls down, let's talk about some environmental features that are related to the ways you can move the character. So you'll come across this kind of beige rock formation, and these are things you can dash through, and the only way to get through them is to dash, and they're kind of breakable walls. And right now they're in their very simple form, but as you advance through the game, you'll start seeing more and more of those. And while I'm here, we can talk about the next thing you can do with movement is these green leafy tiles, which represent climbable walls. And the way you cling onto those is that you hold the controller or like the direction pad towards. So here I'm just holding right on the D-pad to cling onto it, and here too. And of course you can use the analog stick for that as well. And yeah, those are the only kind of special tile types that will require certain kind of movement. So wall climbing and wall clinging, and then dashing through this special kind of brittle tile. And I'll just kind of briefly play through this level here so you can get a feel for it. So here again, we have an obstacle that teaches you to do the circle around controls. And the only way to get through this is to combine things. So I can go underneath, and I can sort of dash under and hook around. And here I can do double jump and dash. And that's kind of what I was talking about. Is like if I started this with a dash, then I wouldn't be able to get through this because I would have to save my dash when I go through walls. And I guess I forgot to mention, it was a little subtle, but all the dash, the jetpack, the jump, and double jump, you only get to do them once while you're in the air. And then you have to land to kind of reset all of those. I'll just go through this quickly, and so you can see what it feels like to kind of go through these kinds of levels. And this, I've already beaten this one, so that's why that person has already been healed. And yeah, I'm just gonna go through this so you can get a sense. Here I dash through this, I go here, and then I have to preserve my, and here I can dash through and circle back and save this person. And then we have a series of obstacles here, which all have to do with dashing too, and there's some little more precision here. And this, the whole game is designed by traveling from planet to planet, and each planet has a distinct theme. So this one is the first planet, so it's a little more basic, and it's meant to kind of introduce you to different kinds of controls and platforming and all that. And then things get more complex as you go along. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up there for this video. I just wanted to cover the basics of the player controller and kind of my thinking about it and how it kind of plays into the game, and also show you a quick little demo of like platforming through. And if you're interested, this game is now available to wishlist on Steam. It's called The Last Medic. And yeah, my name is Nebs, and I go by 7BluePixels, all one word, on all socials, so Twitter, Instagram. So you can follow me all there if you want to keep tabs on the updates of the game and when it's going to come out. I'm planning to release it fairly soon. So yeah, stay tuned for that. See ya. Thank you.